Welcome to part 2 of our first ever two-parter episode. If you'd like to catch part 1, please follow the link in the description if you haven't already listened. Anyway, Arkham Remastered is announced.
Thank you.
Sam, will you bitch one more time?
Second on Dragon. We could probably have a separate podcast for Dragon Ball, the amount we can talk about.
That's what I said a while ago. Like I said, 2 whole hours approximately.
Yeah, let's not go back there. No, I'm drawing a line under it. It's done.
Fine, we'll dodge it.
Yeah. So, Batman Arkham Remastered is a PlayStation 4 and I think Xbox One re-release of Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. Apparently they went back, made it prettier.
Yeah.
Although at the moment I've only had online internet videos to judge by, and, you know, things get nerfed on web players, so I can't really judge if there's much of a difference from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently they moved it from the Unreal 3 engine to the Unreal 4 engine for what they've only described as further improvements. Now,
yeah.
I think I've gushed about Arkham quite a bit before. Arkham Asylum easily being one of my top 10 favourite games of all time. Now, I've beaten these games so many times, I don't know if I can... Oh, I can do it again. I can do it again. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't know if I can do it again, because I will. I doubt I'll buy it on launch. I'll probably wait ages to buy it, but I'll get it eventually. Probably second-hand.
What I find weird is that they've left out Origins on this.
Yeah, that seems a bit petty to me.
Yeah.
Without Origins, because although it's not part of the games that Rocksteady made, there are a lot of callbacks in Night to Origins, and Origins is definitely canon. So
yeah,
it seems a bit cheap. And I don't really get it. You know, and why would they do that? It's an incomplete collection without it.
And people give Origins a lot of bad press, but to be honest, I preferred Origins to Night.
I'll agree with that. If anyone wants to know a hell of a lot about my thoughts on the Arkham series,
plug.
It is a plug, but it saves me repeating a lot of things that I've said 100 times in the past.
Go watch his Arkham retrospective.
No, it's not a retrospective. I've not done an Arkham retrospective. What I have done are Let's Plays of Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Origins. They're over on my Let's Play channel. And each one, while I'm playing it, I'm talking quite in-depth about the games while I'm playing. So, you know, for my full thoughts, go over there. The short version is Arkham Asylum is the best.
Yeah, and go and watch those Let's Plays to prove that mean boy wrong that upset Sam in the comments.
Yeah, that too. Thanks, I think. But these are games that I bought Arkham Asylum on the Xbox 360, beat it. Bought the Game of the Year edition because the trophies stacked. The trophies? The achievements. The achievements stacked, and I was a cheap little achievements whore.
And then PC, and then PS3.
Then I got games for Windows.
PS3 Game of the Year.
Would you stop cutting ahead of me? I'm trying to tell a story here.
I know, but...
I know you know the story.
I know, but it's more I'm trying to shorten it for you because we've rambled a bit tonight.
Whose fault has that been?
Both of ours.
I got it for PC for Games for Windows Live, and then did the Game of the Year edition so I could stack my achievements 4 times.
Wait, did they do a standard edition for PC? Because I thought they went straight to Game of the Year on PC.
No, they do standard.
Oh, okay. Oh, I missed that one.
And then you can, if you want, you can stack it up to 8 times if you then get the Japanese copies.
Did you actually do that?
No.
Thank God.
But you can stack that one game for 8,000 gamer points. Then I did Batman Arkham City on the Xbox 360, and then Game of the Year edition was a separate list again, so I did it again. Then for all of the games, there was a lot of the ones that were games for Windows Live migrated to Steam, and I've started doing them again on Steam, but I haven't finished doing them again on Steam. I can't be arsed, if I'm quite frank. Then I traded in my Xbox 360 for a PlayStation 3, which is an event we've covered numerous times. If you'd like more details on that, feel free to listen to the archive and the previous podcasts. Suffice to say, fuck you, Microsoft.
Yeah, TLDR, Microsoft made Sam unhappy.
They told me that if I was so unhappy with them and I thought their competitors were so great, that I should just go get one of their competitors' systems. So I traded in my Xbox 360 for a PlayStation 3, took the receipt, stapled it to my reply letter that simply said, in response to your letter, okay, so that they could see what I'd fucking done. And that was the end of it. I would have loved to have seen the face of the person who got that letter, where it was just like, yeah, we'll just go get one of our competitors' consoles and then me giving them the receipt saying, fine, fuck you.
I bet that made their day as well. I bet, because, like, nobody...
We've both worked in complaints roles. We know it made their day.
Exactly. Nobody at the level where they're dealing with the complaints is loyal enough to the company to get offended by that. They're going to be like, oh,
they
guys,
probably applauded.
Yeah.
I would have just clapped in the middle of the... That probably got passed around. If you're a Microsoft employee and you know whether that got passed around, let us know. Get in touch. If you're one of our 20 listeners.
Yeah. Back onto Arkham. So you played it.
I did all that. I played it again on PS3.
Yeah.
Batman Arkham City was on PlayStation Plus, so I started playing it again. Then the other half found the Game of the Year edition on disc for £8 in Morrison's or doing the food shop.
So yoink.
Yeah, brought that home. And the saves aren't compatible across the two versions, so I had to start a new game again.
Oh, man.
I did the same for, obviously, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins I'd previously bought and completed on 360 as well. Then I... Obviously, PC versions we've covered. But then I did my Let's Plays, which we mentioned, so I beat them all again for the Let's Plays.
Yeah. So, that's a lot of times, but you're still willing to do that one more.
Yeah, I've beaten, like, Asylum, I've got to be on, because I've done it just for fun as well. So, I've got to be on 8 or 9 times that I've run through Asylum. And yet, this remaster's coming out, and I kind of want to do it again.
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
See, I'm looking at the Remastered Collection, and like you said, it's an online video where the quality may have been degraded from when it's rendered straight up directly on the screen, and obviously due to compression for the stream as well and everything. But from what I saw, it looks like the PC version with full settings, DirectX 11 turned on. So for me, if I had a PS4 or Xbox One as well, I probably still wouldn't bother, because I'd just be thinking, well, it's the same quality and it's the exact same game, so probably not.
I think we can agree that £40 is asking too much.
Yeah. See, for me,
way too much.
I just wouldn't pay anything for it just because of the fact that, like I just said. But
see, it would be interesting if we had Richie on this month. You traitorous bastard.
How dare you have a life?
Yeah, how dare you? What does that say about us? So if we had Richie on, he hadn't played the Arkham games. I had to actually gift him Arkham Asylum on Steam, because he just wasn't picking it up on his own.
Oh,
and even then, he took
it?
like 2 months to slog through the damn thing.
Did he finish?
So it'd be interesting to get his view.
Did he tell
Richie,
you?
leave something in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, on some of our older episodes, he was updating us on how far he'd gotten. But I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I think he finally beat it.
So next we need to gift him Arkham City.
Shit, you're right.
To be fair, on Steam it goes for like £2.50 all the time, so,
It really does. It's cheap as chips. And that's the other thing. Why would you buy this PS4 collection when you can pick up the games on pretty much anything else for like £2 a go?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's not a scarce game. It's not like it's been ages. It's like the Uncharted collection. I don't get the fucking point.
I think with these kind of collections, it's handy for people who, like, for example, with the Uncharted collection, if last gen you didn't have a PS3, you just had the 360, and then you moved over to PS4 this gen, it's handy for that kind of thing. Or
Richie. It's handy for Richie, the person we don't have tonight.
Yeah. Or like if you just sold your last gen consoles, if you don't keep hold of as many gaming platforms as us guys do, if you only have one at a time, whatever the latest thing is, then it's...
We're not hoarders, we don't have a problem. You've got a problem, shut up.
Or just, yeah. I mean, just generally, like, those collections are just handy for either reacquiring or your first time experience if you missed out the first time. Like, I mean, I didn't play through Wind Waker back in the GameCube days, and I didn't want to go and buy a GameCube again just for Wind Waker, but I had a Wii U, saw the HD version, I was just like, yoink.
See, this is why we're more balanced than the BBC. There's no point in these collections. Actually, these collections have a number of benefits for a subsection of people.
Yeah. Well, it's like...
These benefits include, but are not limited to.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not... Like, video games aren't the only medium that does this. I mean, if you look at films, for instance, we had video cassettes years ago, and now we're getting, Blu-ray releases of old films because video cassettes just don't hold up to current technology.
And there was that whole DVD thing in the middle as well. Let's not forget that.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, DVDs are holding up really bloody well, though. They're still keeping hanging in there.
Yeah, they're still releasing stuff on that format. It's weird.
Yeah.
Although what I do see is, like, a lot of people have got DVD players in the car for their kids now, so a lot of kids' movies we buy on Blu-ray also have a DVD copy in there. And they even advertise it as one for at home and one for the car.
Pretty much.
Because our kids are really spoiled.
And the ultraviolet copies for tablets as well.
Yeah, you can't forget those.
But
so no, the Arkham Remaster, like, of course I'll fucking buy it again eventually, and of course I'll fucking play it again. But not at release and not for £40. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, really.
What is the most you'd pay for that collection?
25.
Oh, damn.
25 new.
Damn.
So, like, it would have to be a new sealed copy reduced from 40 to 25.
Yeah.
Pre-owned would be looking 15 tops.
If you ever do get that, let me know how it compares with the PC version on full, because I'm fairly certain your current PC can run a PC version on full, like DirectX 11, everything whammed fully up.
Oh, I know it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a better CPU than mine, you bastard.
I know.
Yeah, he's got an i7 4790, wasn't it? 4790K or something like that.
I know it's an i7 something. You're the hardware guy.
Yeah, and I've got
you're asking the wrong person, really.
I've got an AMD FX 8350. I won't ramble on. All I'll say is the AMD FX range. I do not recommend them. But
what happened with this PC? The short version is, I had sort of a checklist of what I wanted and a budget. And then my father reminded me that because where he works, he could get 10% off a PC. So I adjusted my budget accordingly for his staff discount, and we bought it under. I gave him the money and he bought it.
And 10% doesn't sound like much, but when it's 10% off of like £800, that's £80 off.
Yeah, that brings it down to 720. And it's weird actually how much that extra £100 opened up.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing really makes a difference with any PC build.
Yeah, so I found something that ticked all of the boxes, and then I found the PC I've got, which did the same, but then a little bit more. From what I could tell, I've got a limited knowledge of hardware.
Yeah.
So I just went, fuck it, that one will do. I sent Terry the specs, and he just came back to me straight away like, you absolute cunt. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could do my PC build again, I'd definitely go with Intel, but I'll just keep that in mind for the next release. Although AMD are doing their Zen range, so it'd be interesting to see how that turns out. And there's all this talk as well about like DirectX 12 versus Vulkan, which should be interesting to see how that turns out.
I'm going to nod as if any of this makes any sense to me. I'm pretending to understand you.
I don't understand it completely. When it comes to APIs like DirectX 12 and Vulkan, my understanding is limited. From what I've seen and what I understand of it, DirectX 12 is obviously Microsoft's own thing, so it's going to be Windows exclusive, Windows 10 exclusive, and it's going to be like a new thing that makes games apparently easier to develop, more optimized, all that stuff. Apparently Vulkan is AMD's equivalent that they're working on. It's going to be supported on Windows, Linux, Mac, SteamOS, because that's a form of Linux, and even Android, so that's going to allow more multi-platform kind of support, and it's apparently going to make porting a lot easier for PC games across the different operating systems as well. So,
is this the same thing that you mentioned earlier?
I don't think I mentioned this today.
Porting easier, and I said easier or lazier.
No, that's Microsoft's UWP program for porting Xbox One games to Windows 10.
See, this is how little sense the things you say make to me sometimes. I'm like, because Swan, you're on about the same thing again, and you're on about something different, apparently.
Well, they're similar to be fair, but in terms of the way I describe them. But yeah, like assuming Vulkan is as good in general, I guess, simply put, as DirectX 12.
Right, Terry,
I hope
I'm going to be really mean and say this isn't on the agenda.
Yeah,
I'm finishing my sentence.
I'm finishing my sentence. I hope it takes off well, so that there's more multi-platform support, because then that's more support for mobile gamers. And next topic.
Okay.
You were cutting me off in my last line.
I didn't know that was going to be your last line. I was like, he's been going a while on this. He could keep going. Especially because I don't know the subject matter. I'm like, I don't know how much more of this there is.
Speaking of
on the topic
gaming, there's some Steam summer sales coming up.
I was going to go Battlefield 1 because that's the next one on the list, but yeah, we can go Steam.
Well, that was a segue.
Alright, sure. So Steam summer sales are on June 23rd. We don't know what the games are going to be yet. As I accidentally said earlier, we don't have the list. We just have, oh, thank you, hairdryer of a motor car. I hate when people do that to their mopeds, It's like, yeah, you're impressing nobody. So the Steam Summer Sale is on June 23rd. No idea what the games are going to be. No idea what the discounts are going to be. However, I do know it's 2 days after I get my annual bonus, which is really deadly.
I mean, I remember there's been some years where it's been a bit meh, and other years where it's been absolutely amazing and my wallet has hated me.
It's been more meh since that whole ruling against daily deals and that kind of thing. Now that they're not doing, 24-hour timed deals during it, they're just putting it all up at the same time for the whole duration.
Yeah.
That's when it got a bit more...
One thing
I get it. Companies aren't willing to commit to having it down to 75% off for the whole week as opposed to just a 24-hour window.
I remember when GTA 5 PC version had only been out for a little while, and during that whole time they had a weird sale on that. Basically, they took away the option to buy GTA 5 on its own. You could only buy GTA 5 with like one of those packs where you get in-game money.
The Shark card.
Yeah, that's
So what they did was they said it was 25% off.
Yeah.
But they added the Shark card to the bundle, removed the ability to buy the game solo, and the 25% off the Shark card in the game was still like $37.99.
Yeah, which that kind of thing I thought was a bit of a...
It's shady.
Yeah, a bit shady, a bit of a piss take. Other people have agreed with me. I've had a long-ass debate with someone about that, but personally I think it's kind of cheeky.
Yeah, it's more than cheeky. It's borderline frickin' illegal. But one of the games that might get reduced, and if it does get reduced, I won't pick it up because I've got the PS3 version, is Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remastered, which has come to Steam.
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, the Steam version, it's apparently the arranged remastered soundtrack didn't make it to the PS3 version, so that's like one exclusive thing. And the other thing is, within half an hour of the Steam version being out, someone already freaking modded it.
Yeah, my understanding is that Square Enix said that it was impossible to have the English subtitles of the Japanese audio track, that they couldn't implement it, and that they were very sorry, but they had no plans for it in the future.
Yeah,
and
so
someone did it.
Yeah, someone with a hex string editor changed one of the exe files, and then bam, it was done. Although I must admit, I was really freaking nervous about downloading an exe file that some random modder had uploaded. I was just like, oh god. I was just like looking through all the comments, and there was like hundreds that were verifying it, so I was like, I really hope all these 100 people aren't trolls.
Yeah, let's hope, right? Then again, you take that risk with most things on the internet.
Yeah, but thankfully they turned out to be legit. But on the
subject... you don't have to listen to ha 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 ha.
Exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah, I never actually finished Final Fantasy X back in the day because I just could not put up with the horrible voices. I thought the English voices, like all of them, apart from Auron, were just really cringy.
I've seen some funny names for Tidus going around. I've seen people play through the game with their Tidus called Meg Ryan. I've seen one I've seen floating about online. They renamed him Ellen, as in Ellen DeGeneres. That was quite good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think there was a point where Jennifer Lawrence had her hair like Tidus.
Oh dear.
No offense to Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is amazing, but you know.
Yuna got me through that game. Tidus, whatever you want to call him, annoying. Waka, annoying. Lulu, kind of annoying. Yeah. Whatever the hell the blue fuzzy guy was called, I just renamed him Beast from X-Men.
Yeah.
Kamari, I think his actual name is.
Yeah, Auron was okay, but he was kind of that generic emo character that seemed to have to be in every early 2000s game.
The thing is about Kamari, like, you can't rename him because people say his actual name in the voice acting, but I still referred to him as Beast every time I did anything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Beast's turn is up next, you know.
Like, that game made me wish that they didn't put voice acting in and they just kept it completely text, like, you know, like Legend of Zelda style.
No, I like later games that use it, and I think it had to happen eventually. And they had the storage space finally, so why not?
I guess.
Yuna got me through that game, though.
Yeah, she's okay, I guess.
Yuna, out of the cast of characters, Yuna's probably the best personality. And she's a brunette, which, that just works for me. So... But yeah, I started playing through them again on the PS3. I got it as a leaving present from a job that I left, coming up to 2 years ago. And I only started playing it about 4 months ago, and even then I think I'm only about 3 hours in. Simply because it's a game I've played before on PS2, so my incentive to go back through it isn't as high as it could be.
See, I'm about 4 hours in at the moment, and that's just purely due to the fact that I bought a lot of games recently, so I've played a lot of different games recently. Okay. It's obviously other things to do. But I've got more incentive because I didn't finish it back when it was new, so there's that too.
Yeah, and I might as well. It's not like... When I got the Ratchet and Clank trilogy, the HD one, hell yeah did I want to play through those again. You know, I was really desperate to play through those again in HD. On the other hand, when I picked up, like, Kingdom Hearts, picked up the Kingdom Hearts pack, I was like, really, really want to replay Kingdom Hearts 1. Especially the final mix with the extra content.
Yeah.
Never played RE Chain of Memories before, except for I had a swap magic for my PS2 that died.
So, shady version.
I could play US imports, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when that PS2 died, I could no longer play that US import. So I was like, I want to check this out because I didn't get to play much of it last time.
Yeah.
And oh god, I can't get used to that card battling system. I'm sorry.
I know, it's so awkward.
But like, there are HD collections I've really loved and been really eager to play, and there are others where I'm like, that's kind of nice to have in HD, but I've not been too fussed about playing them. Tales of Symphonia Chronicles is still on my shelf. I need to actually pop that disc in.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on like the Tales of games, because they're ones I've not really got around to playing. And there's this collection where it's got both the Tales of Symphonia games and Tales of Grace's F or something. That's all in one collection for PS3, so I've been tempted to add that at some point.
I'll tell you one I want at the moment, is the God of War collections. But then I remember that God of War Ascension, God of War 1, and even if it is the worst version, God of War Ghosts of Sparta, have all been on PlayStation Plus. So really all I'm missing is God of War 2, God of War 3, and God of War, I think it's called Chains of Olympus.
Yeah, that one. I've got the PSP version of that on UMD. It's pretty fun.
I don't know how the PSP games. How integral are they to the canon? Like, could I skip those? Because if I can skip those, then...
To be honest, I've only played that one a little bit casually, so I can't really say.
Okay.
If you're gonna get a collection, I'd recommend the God of War Saga. It's got the PSP ones and 1, 2, and 3 all in one set.
Okay, so it's all on one like big box.
Yeah, pretty much. Kind of like what when they did the Metal Gear Legacy collection for PS3, which was someone I know nabbed, lucky sod.
Although the Legacy Collection, wasn't that US only?
No, we got it over here as well, although we got hardly any copies.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, anyway. So in that you got a PSN code for the original Metal Gear Solid, which I would have preferred on disc, but it's better than nothing. They had the HD collection of 2, 3, and Peace Walker, and then Metal Gear Solid 4 on there.
Okay. See, I'm searching God of War Saga right now as we're talking, and all that's coming up is US versions.
Thing is, though, as far as I know, they're all on disc, and PS3 is region free.
This is true. It is region free, so if they're all on disc, then that's fine. It looks like these are about £15, which is a lot cheaper than getting them separately.
There
I
you
sound
go.
like an advert right now.
Hey, I'm good at finding bargains. It's like when I found Hyper Street Fighter 2 for PS2 for £1.
Yeah, that was this week.
Yeah. Richie was saying the other day I should do like a video game UK version of this. I forget the name of the channel that you pointed to, the one that searches for video game bargains. But I was just like,
Game Chasers.
yeah, I was just like, I'm good, but I'm nowhere near on their level.
Fair enough.
But with Final Fantasy on Steam, just going back to that, what this is making me think is I'm really hopeful for later Final Fantasy installments to start making their way over, because at this point, near enough every Final Fantasy is on Steam, even the HD version of Type 0. Because I'm probably not going to buy a PS4 or an Xbox One anytime soon because I just don't have enough incentive. I've got a ton of games on Steam to get through, and like most of the new stuff is coming to multiple platforms. I'm not going to go and buy a PS4 just for Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15. But if they bring them over to Steam, like myself and a load of other people would be really hyped.
Okay.
I mean, at this point, they've even got the 13 trilogy on Steam. Like, that's how recent they've gotten. And, of course, there was all the Final Fantasy MMOs that came to PC straight away.
There is an addendum to God of War Saga.
Oh?
God of War and God of War 2 are on the first disc.
Yeah.
God of War 3 is on the second disc, but the PSP entries are on a download card. You redeem a code. And that's only valid for the US PSN store.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So, it looks like in the UK my option would be to get God of War Collection 1 and 2 on the PS3, and then God of War 3 separately.
Yeah,
and
especially
Ascension
as
separately.
I think God of War 3 got a remastered version on PS4, or either that or it's going to, so...
Oh, it has, it's out. I just don't see the point in getting all of them on PS3 except for God of War 3. I don't see the remaster being... I've talked already about I don't see remasters being worth it.
If it was
the PS4 version, when I've seen it, has been double the price of the PS3 version.
I was going to say, if it was the same price, then no big deal, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not spending the extra when I can't see what I'm getting for it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Probably a higher frame rate and some prettier graphics, but that's not that important to me. I mean, people were happy enough with the initial release, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Let's
so
move...
just before we wrap this up, is there anything else you can think of on that you'd like to see a sale of?
No. No, I've got too many games.
Not even Civ Beyond Earth?
Don't let Joanna... Huh?
Not even Civ Beyond Earth?
No, really not interested. Like, Civ 5, I was like, yeah, and then I had hardly anyone to play it with, and it kind of got old real quick, and then I installed some mods so that I could play against civilizations like the Eggman Empire and Bowser's Kingdom.
Nice.
Yeah. I got Big Boss and Outer Heaven on a mod as a place, and their unique unit is Metal Gear.
Nice.
So you get Metal Gears walking around the map. And that, again, only extended the game by a couple of weeks. I did not get into it the way I got into 4.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, what is interesting, Battlefield 1 announcement.
World War One.
Battlefield. Yeah, World War One. And it's weird because everyone got sick of World War Two shooters. We had hundreds of them. And then Call of Duty 4 took a risk by going for modern warfare, and everyone praised them for it. It revolutionized things, and then suddenly every goddamn shooter was set in modern times. Now, well, apart from Halo, which was futuristic, now Call of Duty has gone futuristic. I think it's like 100 years into the future, because we had advanced warfare, and now we're getting infinite warfare. It just seems to be getting further and further into the future. Whereas Battlefield seems to be going in the opposite direction and going back to the past, back before even the World War II shooters, to explore the untapped resource that is World War One. And what's interesting about World War One over any other period is that we were still figuring out how warfare as we currently know it works. So, we didn't really... We were still used to, well, you turn up on horseback at a prearranged time in a prearranged destination with your swords, and you go at it in a gentlemanly fashion. We were not used to get up over that trench and get mowed down by a fucking machine gun. You know?
That's the thing. They're going to have to be really careful if they want to do a good job of this on how they approach it, in terms of the pacing especially. If they're looking for something that's kind of fast-paced, like the Modern Warfare sort of style games that they've done in recent years, that's really not going to play to the advantage. Well,
no, these things are going to be primitive. Things are going to take a while to reload.
It can't just be a reskin.
No, it can't. It mechanically needs to feel primitive. It needs to feel, shaky, long reloads, short range. Apparently they've already said that they're doing a number of different melee weapons, which all, have different weights to them and speeds and whatnot. And actually the melee weapons they want to make as varied and interesting as the ranged weapons, the guns.
Do you think going back in time is going to be the next sort of big thing with games? Because like Far Cry, they did that Primal installment as their most recent one. So do you think this is the way they're going to go now for a bit?
No, I don't see it being a trend. I think Far Cry Primal it's Far Cry 4's equivalent to Blood Dragon.
I guess, yeah.
It's more of a spin-off than anything. The impression I get with Primal is that it's a bit of a novelty, and that's why they're throwing it all the way back there. Far Cry 5, they'll be right back in modern times. Battlefield 1, however, is touting itself as a main entry, and I think it's just trying to do something not a lot of games have tried to do. I think other people will watch it to see how it does, but I think they'll also remember that when, Medal of Honor, for example, tried to reboot and be very much like Modern Warfare, it did shit because it was seen as a copycat. And I think everyone's going to be very wary of being seen as, Battlefield 1's copycat. No one wants to be the imitation, and I hope they've learned from previous mistakes.
I mean, it depends how they go about it. I mean, to be fair, Counter-Strike predates Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare for doing the whole Modern Warfare thing, and I'm sure there's a load of other games that even predate that as well.
But I don't think Counter-Strike had a story campaign, did it? It's always been multiplayer only, if I remember right. I'm not much of a Counter-Strike guy.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, okay, well, like Rainbow Six, for instance, as well, there's that too.
True. I think that went more for the... For me, Call of Duty is quite arcadey in a lot of ways, whereas the Tom Clancy games, they're more simulation games.
Oh, totally. They're very tactical, very sort of methodical.
It's a different tone altogether. I don't think the two are comparable.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like, well, that actually is a good point. Then what they need to do is, like, if anyone wants to sort of use that as a jumping off point and go with World War One themselves, they need to put their own spin on it to avoid being a copycat. So, like COD 4 Modern Warfare, they put their own spin on it, so they weren't another Counter-Strike or another Rainbow Six, because Counter-Strike was massive around then. Like, Counter-Strike Source was still being played like to death. I mean, Global Offensive is still being played in tournaments, so it's still big now. So. So for them to sort of be able to really jump onto that, like, it was an amazing thing. So if this is the turning point for Battlefield where they start this whole new thing, then it'd be interesting to see.
So there's something I've realised that I have to ask. Are we agreeing on something? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I feel itchy.
I feel like I need a shower.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need a chemical shower.
And on that bombshell, to steal a phrase from Top Gear, should we take a look at the fan questions?
Yeah, I feel like we're missing something.
Let's do a checklist. What have we been playing? Done. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, done. Arkham Remastered, done. Battlefield 1, done, albeit out of order, thank you.
It's because we've done it all out of order. Yep, we're covered. All right, fan questions, let's go.
Yeah, there is one on the YouTubes. Well, technically there's two on the YouTubes. I'm going to read one that... it wasn't originally put to us as a fan question. I think it was just a general comment, but it was phrased as a question, so damn it, I'm going to answer it. Can you guys normalize the audio next time? That's my bad. I was admittedly rusty. Thankfully, this time we're recording. I should get 2 audio streams, so me and Terry separate, and that should make it a lot easier for me to then do the audio balancing and make sure that we are the same volume.
Yeah, I'm capturing and recording my end as well. So if there's some technical problem with Sam's end, I can send mine over or edit it my end myself. We both edit, so yeah. Well,
yeah, either or.
Sam does the editing for this, but I mean we're both capable of editing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's a competition. So the other one, this made me smile because the guy he asked where to post the question, which in and of itself was a question.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's quite polite of him.
True. So you've replied and said, "Oh, just post it here." So do you want to read out his question?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'll just say, first he said, I have a question, I'd like to answer where I post it. If you have a question, I'll say what I said to him. We answer questions from any communication means that you can really catch us on. So on our YouTube page, on the comments on this video, or our other videos. Well, it'd make more sense if it was on the most recent video, because otherwise it'd be like, oh, why are you posting it all the way back there? But hey-yo. We also have a Facebook like page. And we each have our own individual Twitters as well. So if you've stalked us enough to know where our Twitters are, then I guess you can tweet us.
Yeah. At SJ Webster Art.
Mine's just at Terry NJP Kane because it's just a personal one. But I post a lot of stuff on there. Yeah. Lot of animal pictures.
What's his actual question?
Anyway, his actual question.
Oh, fuck me, this is a long question.
Yeah.
He actually has a show more button on the question.
Oh my god, I didn't notice that.
Oh god, this is... Wow.
Okay,
is there a short version?
Yeah, we're going to need to shorten this down. Let's see. So he's bought a Vita and the new 3DS XL. Nice. Both at the same
I've read ahead of you. It's 2 questions. It's 1, what JRPGs should I get for my mobile platforms? And 2, do you think that mobile gaming on smartphones and tablets will destroy handheld dedicated consoles like the 3DS and Vita?
Okay. So
1, you bought a Vita at the worst time.
Oh, you reckon? I mean, at this point, the Vitas are cheap and the games are getting cheaper.
Yeah, but there's not going to be a lot coming. Apparently, the Atelier RPGs are very good on the Vita. They're all alchemists in the subtitle. It's like Atelier, Escher, Rose Alchemist and stuff like that. I've not played them personally, but I've heard good things. And then they tend to come out on Vita, and then they seem to get collected in, 2 or 3 games at a time on the PlayStation 3. The only thing I'm wary of is that these Atelier games seem to come out once a year, and I'm not sure how you can do annualized JRPGs and still keep the quality.
Yeah.
Additionally, sorry, just one quick
sorry.
one. Additionally, the Vita has all of the PS1 classics downloadable for it, so obviously you've got all of the Final Fantasies up to 9 can be downloaded from there. Wild Arms, all of the PS1 classic JRPGs, basically. I think Suikoden has now come to PSN. That may just be in the US, I'll need to double check, but I saw a news article or something about Suikoden. You mentioned you've already got Persona 4 Golden, so you've already got the best one. Not a JRPG, but an anime-styled game that I am enjoying. Freedom Wars is worth checking out. More of an action-y game, but there's a couple of RPG elements. Worth taking a look at. Right, Terry, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say Final Fantasy X and X-2, the remaster, got put on Vita as well, so that's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're right, it did. Don't know how it runs on there, but yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it probably runs about as well as Persona 4 Golden, because they're both ports of what were originally PS2 RPGs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Jack trilogy got put on there as well.
And the Ratchet and Clank trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one thing to look for, actually, on the Vita. I mean, not exclusively RPGs, but there's a lot of HD collections on there that are on PS3, so if you want them on the go, that's something.
Yeah, true. Let's look at your 3DS, because you mentioned the 3DS.
Yeah.
You say you've already got Fire Emblem, that's fine. So, Bravely Default and Bravely Second, I'm told very good things about. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet.
Me too.
Remember, your 3DS is backwards compatible with the DS, so things like Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy IV were out for the DS. There were a couple of Dragon Quests, so Dragon Quest 9, 5, and 6, I believe, are on the DS.
They're bringing out 8 on the 3DS soon as well.
And 7. 7's coming to 3DS.
Yeah.
Additionally, you've got, and I'm racking my brains
here. Kingdom Hearts Dream
Chrono
Drop
Trigger.
Distance.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, absolutely. Chrono Trigger had a re-release on the DS.
Oh, yeah, and it's
you've
the
got
best
the Mario
version.
Huh?
It's the best version.
It is. Mario and Luigi games. So, Mario and Luigi Dream Team, Bowser's Inside Story, and there's a new one that's a crossover with Paper Mario, but I forget the name of it.
It's Paper Mario Jam.
Okay.
And there's Paper Mario games for it as well. Well, I think there's one at least sticker style. I've not heard great things, but you might be the exception.
Okay. I don't know. We'll find out. And obviously Pokemon.
Yeah.
You can't talk about RPGs on Nintendo handhelds and not talk about Pokemon. As for will mobile games on smartphones and stuff take out dedicated handhelds, I say no because they're targeting different demographics. I have a phone, I don't play games on it because I don't get tactile feedback from any buttons. I don't like touch controls, I really don't. And also, like, the phones, there's limited space on them as is. You're constantly clearing your Facebook cache, your internet browser cache, etc. to free up space. Apps are just getting more and more bloated. I don't really want to add games to that mix, if I'm quite honest. I would, I much prefer to carry a Vita or a 3DS around specifically for gaming. And also there are exclusive titles on those handhelds that I can't get for mobile. I can't get Pokemon on my phone. Well, there are certain means where you can play older Pokemon games on your phone, but that's not what I'm talking about. The Vita, Persona 4 Golden, well, I'm not going to play that anywhere else. So, no, I don't think it's going to hurt. I think when I go to play a handheld game, it's on the hour-long bus ride to and from work. It's the 4-hour trip to go visit family the other side of the country. It's, the 8-hour trip up to Leeds for the Thought Bubble convention each November. Or it's, goddammit, the other half is hogging the TV again and I've got an itch, Whereas my phone, if anything, would be, sort of cheap novelty, quick hit games, things, little stacker games, things like, I don't actually play any of these, but there's a lot that look like they're basically Puyo Pop, Super Bubble Ball whatever the bloody name
Yeah,
is.
things like
Robotnik's
Crossy
Mean
Road.
Bean Machine clones.
Oh, like
I know
Tetris.
Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is itself a clone, but, you know.
Yeah.
Tetris-y shit.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think they're just way too different. I mean, it's like if you look at Facebook games, they're not killing PC games for the exact same reason. They're just not made with the same demographic in mind, or the same kind of budget, or the same kind of style in mind. It's a completely different area. It's like, and it applies to other media. Like trashy reality TV isn't going to replace cinema films.
True. It's different strokes for different folks, and I think they're going for different things.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like mobile phone games are just like the sort of things that like a parent will give their little kid to play to just like keep them quiet for a little bit if they're like out somewhere, or an old person might play or something like that. Like most of the time. I mean, obviously I've played some mobile games and I'm in my mid-20s, so that's I'm not going to overgeneralize that much, but you get what I'm coming from.
Yeah, true. So I've noticed we do have another question from Kishoro Guy.
Hey.
When are you lot going to do another race?
Well, like you said, it's Richie's turn to pick a game, but maybe me and you might need to just go ahead and do one, but...
Yeah, remember people, what Terry just said, do one. That's an insult in the UK.
not
He's just told me
context.
to do one, alright? That's on record. That's a verbal threat, should anything ever come of it.
Right, so now if you go missing, the police are going to come after me. Fantastic.
They were coming after you anyway. I mean, it was already going to happen. Joe was just going to... I was going to say Joe would finger you in a lineup, but then I thought you'd make a crude joke out of it.
Damn it.
Yeah. So it is Richie's turn to pick a game. As you can tell, we're having difficulty finding time when all three of us are available, hence having two podcasts in a row of just me and Terry. Richie, come on. Come on. That's my answer. That's it.
Yeah. But I don't know. What sort of race would you want? I mean, what sort of game would you want to do for the next race? Thinking about it, because I mean, we covered like loads of Sonic.
All the Sonic, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I would quite like to do?
What?
I would like to grab an old game like Street Fighter 2, but do it on an emulator with NetPlay, and we could do like a little winner stays on session, like me, you, and Richie just fighting winner stays on.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that could be fun. Get EPSXE running Marvel vs. Capcom. We could just chat as we play MVC.
Yeah, to be fair, like there's probably one of those games available like on GOG or Steam or something that supports online play naturally anyway.
True. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the PS3 got Soul Calibur 2 online, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Which is my favourite Soul Calibur, so I'm happy.
Oh, God,
I just play
mine
Salim
too.
all the time. She's so quick and so small. She just gets in, fucks people's shit up, and gets out.
See, I always go with either Keelik or Maxi if I want to fuck people up.
Okay. Those are... I'm terrible playing against them, because it's like, shit, they have speed and reach. Well, Maxi
Yeah,
doesn't have as much
especially
reach.
Keelik. Keelik is just ridiculously OP.
He's broken. Absolutely broken.
Yeah.
Especially because he can slam his staff down on you while you're laying on the ground. It's such a cheap bastard move.
Well, while we're sort of on the subject of like future videos, and you've plugged enough, so I'm going to plug something that I'm working on at the moment. It's a top 10 list.
Oh.
And it's it's related to what we were just talking about with multiplayer. It's the top 10 couch multiplayer games.
Oh, I'm actually interested in seeing that.
So I won't.
Compared to your other videos that I couldn't give a shit about. This one I'm actually interested in.
Thanks for the support,
I'm interested in all of your videos, Terry.
Fucking better be. Yeah.
See, that's a threat. This is why the police are coming after you.
But yeah, so I won't tell you the games yet, obviously, because then there'd be no point freaking watching. But I'll just tell you like the kind of sort of provisions and guidelines I'm sort of going by. So first rule, must have local multiplayer support. So LAN doesn't count. Might do a separate list for LAN in the future because me and a few guys have done some LAN sessions before, and they're actually pretty fun. I know it's not much. I know it seems like there's not much point these days doing them with online, and the fact that getting a bunch of computers around someone's house is a hassle, but still, it's good fun. Second guideline: one game per franchise. Support for anything between 2 to 8 players is fine, so I'm not going to restrict it to like 4 to 8. Doesn't count if it's local play on a handheld like Smash Bros. Or 3DS because, well, for one, it's a very different experience. Like typically the sort of thing you would do at a convention. I don't know about you, but I've done that in a lot of convention lines, and also for also for the reason I can't bloody capture footage of that. And
Right.
finally, either competitive or co-op is fine. It doesn't, there's no restriction on that.
Okay, fair enough.
So
All sounds very good.
yeah, and the other thing is, the generations on this list are very diverse, so we'll see a bit of a mixture there.
Okay, fair enough. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
So at this
So,
point in the show, you've got your random question of the week, haven't you, Sam?
yeah, which I've actually changed on the fly because I've seen the little timer on Skype for how long we've been talking. Should I buy an egg timer before we do another one of these?
Is that your random
Just
question? Because that's a really lame one. And yes.
flip the egg timer at the start of a topic and be like, right, when that sound runs out, I'm cutting him off. We move along when that
Says
sound
you
runs
took
out.
about 20 minutes to discuss your experiences playing the various versions of the Arkham games.
Yeah. Oh well.
This one's on both of us.
Alright. It's your favorite wrestling game and why.
Oh.
Now,
Oh man.
I'm gonna go with WWF No Mercy on the N64. One, because it was I believe it was the first time there was a first blood match type, which was just amazing. Two, I liked the gameplay style. It felt quite arcadey when SmackDown seemed a little more real. I liked the character customizations. You could do a Kamehameha taunt, so it was easy to make like Goku and Ryu as custom characters.
Nice.
And it had the career mode where, you'd go for a belt and there was quite a bit of RNG running in the background, but you could make decisions and it would form your own little plot line up to the title match. And then you'd start, obviously, for the next title, and you'd start again and form another little story. And while similar events could happen in between, it was quite rare to get the same succession of events. So that was quite a bit of replayability, and some really random funny shit came out of that. Oh, and
Good
also
choice.
it was the N64 had 4 controller ports, so if you had friends around, having a 4-player match was really easy.
Yeah, that's a good point. No need for multi-taps or any of that bother.
Yeah, none of that bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm going to go with WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain for PlayStation 2. It's the last wrestling game I really, really enjoyed. And on top of that, it has every match type that I think is in existence at this point. So, like,
Wow.
I think the last new match they ever sort of invented was the Elimination Chamber match, the one with all the chains and that big metal construct. I don't know if you watched WWE much at all. Are you familiar
No,
with that?
I haven't watched any wrestling since high school.
Fair play. But yeah, so it's got every match type that's currently known. I mean, like there's new variants. Like there's a variant of the ladder match called Money in the Bank where there's like 8 or 7 competitors or something all going for a briefcase, but it's just a ladder match with more people basically. So, that doesn't really count. So it has every known match type now. The character roster on it was really expansive. The pacing on it, the pacing just felt so good. Like the new games, they feel stupidly slow now. Like I played WWE 14 the other day and I was just like, what the hell is this? So you're grappling fast, you're striking fast, and the roster itself, like it had all the sort of, Attitude Era guys. It had all the new guys that were around then, like Brock Lesnar, guys like that. So, and it had like Hulk. I think Hulk Hogan was back around then as well, and like all the NWO guys from WCW as well. Like this was a good few years after WWF, now WWE, bought up WCW. So there's a whole bunch of those guys. Like there's Goldberg as well. So
you could do Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a shame that couldn't ever happen because basically, like a few months after Goldberg came back, Austin got his career-ending injury with his neck, so he couldn't wrestle anymore. But on Goldberg's last match in the WWE, it was against Brock Lesnar, and Stone Cold was the guest referee, so that was kind of interesting to see.
Okay, so both in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And like that night, everybody like got wind from the internet that Brock Lesnar and Goldberg were quitting, so everyone was booing the hell out of them. So then after the match ended, Stone Cold just stunned the pair of them, and everyone just went nuts.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good point to end on, I think.
Yeah, if you can edit
I'm going to have to check that game out at some point.
If you can edit in Stone Cold's entrance music without anchoring the
No, I'm not going to risk it with the copyright laws of YouTube.
That's what we end.
Oi. Don't. They might pick that up. It's all automated bots. They show no mercy. See what I did there? They show no mercy. Anyway. Guys, if you've got any questions for us to answer on the next podcast, please leave them down in the comments below, or on our Twitters or on our Facebooks.
Yeah. We'll try and do this again soon.
We will try to do this again soon. I would really, really like, I don't want to go a third podcast without having Richie. I would really like him to come into the next one, and I know that's entirely on him. So, Richie, if you're listening, sort your shit out. Seriously. Anything you want to say before we go, pal?
No, I think I've spoken enough. I'll be quiet now.
Good. Good night, everybody.
And that's the bottom line, because SJ says so.
You know I'm going to cut that, right? I just... That's not making it in. It's not. Not making it in.